Hey, remember when the Phillies lost 2 or 3 to the Nationals? Remember when that happened? Well, they just took 2 of the first 2 games of this 3-game series with one of the best teams in baseball, the best team in the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays. How about them fighting Phils? And I can't help but think that whenever the Phillies fight back, it's still ingrained in my head. Maybe because it's just like you guys, a lot of you guys, it's like the voice of your childhood still. And happy birthday to Tom McCarthy. Does a great job, all that. But I still, whenever the Phillies fight back in a game, I still hear Harry Callis, HK, Harry the K, continuously say, fighting Phils. They just fight and fight and fight, and that's exactly what they did in tonight's ball game, especially with 2-out hits, 2-out runs, making things happen for this squad tonight. It was a thing of beauty, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. We're going to give you some instant reaction here on the Farzy Show YouTube channel, as we usually do for Jacob Media's post-game show, where we do a lot of Phillies coverage and instant reaction for all things over there. So I'm happy to be with you guys tonight and give you some Phillies instant reaction. Like an 8-4 win today, and talking all things Phillies when it comes to Bryson Stott's night, when it comes to the way you saw another home run from Nick Castellanos, his 13th of the season, matching last year's season total already, and we're not even at the All-Star break yet. We still got 4 more games before that happens, and I can't believe what the Phillies have been able to put these 2 games together against the Rays. I didn't think it was possible. And yet here we are right now enjoying a Phillies series win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they'll go for the series sweep. Hey, let's get greedy. The series sweep over the Tampa Bay Rays starting tomorrow. Let's get into it. Let's look at this game. And yes, the number one thing, I don't like checking box scores, especially in this case, in this scenario. Whenever I look at a box score, whenever I look at what the Phillies have done, or really any squad for that matter, I always like to say that, yes, numbers never lie, but they do deceive. You look at this box score right now from Taijuan Walker. Clip this off ESPN just before the show. Taijuan Walker, 7 innings pitched, all right? 4 runs, all of them earned on 5 hits. He did give up a home run. That box score doesn't look great, all right? That box score does not look great, not even a little bit, of course. However, he had a great game tonight. Gave up the home run, gave up a couple of hits, but 2 of those runs I charge to Trey Turner. Now, look, I'm not going to spend an eternity on this because the Phillies won, and I'm really happy that the Phillies won. I'm excited that the Phillies won. However, that play in the first inning from Trey Turner, there were 3 misplays on one play. There were 3 misplays on one play by Trey Turner. There was the swipe trying to catch it. Now, it would have been over his shoulder. It would have been a good play by him. Couldn't make it, but he missed it. Then he tried to quickly corral it, and it bounced off his mitt. Then he tried to quickly corral it again, bounced off again, and then he was able to set it in. Meanwhile, another run scored on the play. So maybe the first run, yeah, sure, Taijuan Walker, a bloop single, RBI, fine. But to compound that problem by awarding 2 runs right out of the gate to the Rays, it didn't look good early for the Phils. But what did I say to start things off? The fighting Phils. And that's what the Phillies did. They kept fighting back. So after I look at that particular play, and after I look at Taijuan Walker, and I acknowledge that he had a very solid start no matter what the box score says, I look at it the other way, and I look at what the Phillies did tonight to back him up on the base pass. And there was one instance where the Phillies might have struggled a little bit and almost got picked off in a bad scenario. But then I look at what the Phillies were able to do in 2 different situations, 3 different situations, 4 different situations. When I look at the 3rd inning, you get the ground rule double from Bryce Harper. Then next guy up, JT Realmuto, with the 2 outs on the board, is able to go out there and get the RBI single with 2 outs to make it a 3-3 ball game. Go into the 5th inning. You have JT Realmuto step up. He gets a double with 2 outs, and then Bryson Stott gets the RBI single with 2 outs on the board. And then you see Nick Castellanos step up in the 6th inning. He gets the home run at 6-4. Those were 2 outs in the ballgame at that point. And then Brandon Marsh with his 2-out, 2-run single in the 7th inning to give the Phillies the 8-4 lead. It was a thing of beauty, without question, what they were able to do in that particular game. So very happy to see that. Then you also look at what the Phillies were able to do throughout the rest of that lineup tonight. And Kyle Schwarber, unfortunately, was the only one to come up hitless. in this game. 0 for 6, average back down to 185, 320 on base percentage. But you go through that lineup top to bottom right there and look at the multiple hit games. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Real Muto, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm. I do want Bryson Stott to be back in the leadoff spot, but I know a lot of people look at that and they go, oh, well, you're winning. I know it's hard to argue against the results that the Phillies have been able to post over the last month plus of the season, but you can't tell me that Kyle Schwarber is the reason or a huge reason as to why the Phillies are just in the position that they are right now, which is one of the best teams in baseball over the last month, really, when you think about it. But you mean to tell me that Bryson Stott couldn't help you out more as the leadoff hitter? And don't give me he only leads off once per game and all that stuff. The leadoff hitter does. How many times does he actually lead off? You're getting more at-bats as the leadoff hitter. And right now, I'd rather give more at-bats to Bryson Stott than I would Kyle Schwarber. I would love to see Kyle Schwarber bat more in the heart of this order, bat 5th, bat 6th even. But really, I wouldn't drop him below the 5 spot. Harper's been getting hits, but the power has been gone, so maybe you move him up in the order. Maybe he becomes your 2 or 3 hole hitter. Maybe Castellanos, now that the pop has returned to his bat, maybe you bat him closer to that 4 hole again. Move him down a spot, switch him and Harper maybe. Maybe you shake things up a little bit like that. And Trey Turner got a home run. I ripped him for the fielding, fine. He had a couple other good plays at shortstop, but he came up with the long ball when you needed a long ball from him. That ball was towering out of the field of play in Tampa tonight. But watching that ball fly like that, the guy can still swing it. It's few and far between, unfortunately, but the guy can still swing it. So, look, the Phillies are winning, and it's hard to argue against it when you have Kyle Schwarber at the leadoff spot and the Phillies are winning. And I know Rob Thompson says time and time again he absolutely loves being able to have Kyle Schwarber atop the order and put that fear into the opposing pitcher, even if it is a bullpen game like this game against Tampa Bay tonight. But for whatever reason, the Phillies just seem to do really well with Schwarber in that spot. Maybe everybody else is comfortable. I don't know. I've also heard Rob Thompson say time and time again he could put Bryson Stott wherever he wants in this lineup, and Bryson Stott will hit in this lineup. I wish he hit a little bit better when the opportunity was there for him to be the leadoff hitter, but unfortunately it went by the wayside. They ended up shaking things up, especially the beginning of June, shaking things up again by putting Kyle Schwarber atop of the order. Look, whatever's working for the Phillies, they're going to continue to ride until it wasn't working anymore. 0 for 6 or not atop the order for Kyle Schwarber. They scored 8 runs. There's been times this season where we've looked at Rob Thompson and we've questioned greatly what he was thinking, what went into the rationale behind some lineups, whether that be game 1 against the Arizona Diamondbacks when the Phillies really started to turn things around on the road, the last time they lost a game on the road, by the way, when they go out there and they lose that game 1 of the 4-game series, and he had Cody Clemens as his first baseman, he had Josh Harrison as his second baseman, he had who did he have for that? He had Sosa at third. He had guys just you're not used to seeing as starters in this lineup as your starters. Boehm wasn't at first. I don't even think Marsh was playing in center field in that particular game. Yeah, he had Dalton Guthrie in center field. So it was like, what are you doing? The 4 non-regulars are out there. It was bonkers to me. Boehm was at first. Cody Clemens wasn't at first in that particular situation. But they scored 8 runs. So the lineup wasn't the problem. There's been things that for whatever reason Rob Thompson is doing that he just feels it goes with his gut. Analytics be damned. Logic be damned. This seems to be working for us right now, so we're going to stick with it. And look, it's gotten the Phillies to this point, which is in the playoffs that the season ended today. It got them to this, 11-game winning streak on the road now. Their best since the 70s. It's insane. But the Phillies obviously have to keep it going. And history has proven that you have a better leadoff hitter, go with the better logic, and not just be seduced by the result, which everybody can be. And things would fall into place, and you might have longer sustained success. But this success right now has lasted over a month for the Phillies. And now it's lasting against the best team in the American League after it obviously not working so great for 2 of the 3 games against a pretty porous team in the National League, and all of baseball for that matter, in the Washington Nationals. So logic be damned. Phillies are going to continue to ride whatever's working for them, 0 for 6 or not. I do got to give a lot of credit to Nick Castellanos. For him to match his season high, or really his Phillies high in his brief year and a half as a Philly, 13 home runs, his 13th tonight in this 8-4 win. He's been locked in all year. Maybe not power numbers-wise as far as home runs go. It's not like he's on pace for a 35, 40 home run season or anything like that, but the extra base hits have been there all year. He's been putting balls in the gaps. He's been great when it comes to driving in runs. Him and Bohm have been your most consistent hitters this season by driving in runs. And those numbers have certainly been there a lot more than they have last year for Nick Castellanos. And I know a lot of people were down on him last year, and I was certainly down on him last year, but I was one of those people that was saying there's no way that he has 2 of these years in a row, right? Like, there's no way that Nick Castellanos has matured as a professional ball player and all of a sudden just can't get back to anything near a 300 batting average again, can't get near 25 home runs again, can't get near a 350 on base percentage again. But all throughout this season, he has shown that one down year was just that. It was a down year for Nick Castellanos last year. And yes, maybe Trey Turner was going through a lot of the same things in his early days as a Philly, but even Trey Turner, if you just look at the on-base percentage for him, it's been much better since when he started out as a Philly 2 months ago. Since June, he's really clicked it in the high gear, a 350 on base percentage. And that's a guy you want at the top of the order. That's a guy you want getting on base in front of a guy like Nick Castellanos. Because guess what? Nick Castellanos doesn't even have to put it in the gap for a guy like Trey Turner to score. He can just simple single up the middle and he'll score from second on that. Slowly hit ball to right field. He's scoring from second on that. Might even be scoring from first on a ball hit in the gap. That's what Trey Turner can do for you when he's getting on base consistently. And Nick Castellanos has capitalized on those opportunities more often than not. So when you get your 1-2 hitters on base consistently and you put them there for the ducks on the pond for a guy like Nick Castellanos, more runs are going to happen. You also look at a guy like Bryce Harper, and I know now it's 33 games. Today was his 33rd game without hitting a home run. I know Bryce Harper has come very close time and time again, and we've talked about how close how close Bryce Harper has come to home runs. No better example than even last night's game, where he put one off the wall and he wasn't running, and he knows he should be running. Well, the Phillies still got a run out of that play, but they should have had a runner in scoring position as well after the run scored from first. The Bryce Harper thing, I know the power's not there. He's still getting on base. He's still drawing walks. He's still getting base hits. He's still driving in runs. It's going to be hard for the Phillies to sustain this success as the season goes on without Bryce Harper providing that pop. If he's still driving in runs, then that's great. I'm excited for it. I love it. But everything else needs to fall into place around Bryce Harper at the same time. And tonight was a game where it absolutely happened. He was penalized. Obviously, Rob Thompson after the game last night talked about how he hadn't had a conversation with Bryce Harper about not running it out to at least second base on that long fly ball that bounced off the wall. He should have at least had an RBI double. Instead, it was an RBI single. Apparently, they were going to have words about it. It wasn't a big argument. It wasn't a huge punishment as Bryce Harper was back in the lineup today. But when you watch him out there, you just feel like he needs, for his own sanity, to hit the ball out of the park. 33 games, longest drought as a Philly. By 6 games now, I believe it is. No, it's 8 games now. This is insane. But he's still being productive. He's still finding ways to help you win. And if he eventually does get that opportunity to help you win as a first baseman, well, then I'm all here for it, because I am still done with Kyle Schwarber in left field. Still very much done with Kyle Schwarber there in left field. Anybody else? I look at a guy like Brandon Marsh and what he's been able to do with the team. Alec Boehm certainly deserves a shout out for what he was able to do tonight. And I put up the box score for you guys a second ago there. But you're looking at another multi-hit game there for Alec Boehm, 3 for 4. His average is back up to 285, 332 on base percent. I mean, some of these on base percentages, these guys are hitting. These guys are hitting, 5, 6, 7 for you guys in the lineup there. Brandon Marsh, your 9-hole hitter, 351 on base percent. What? That shouldn't be, but it is. And then the man at top of the order there, Kyle Schwarber. Yeah. But you look at a guy like Brandon Marsh and just what he's been able to do for you in this lineup as of late has been fantastic. And if JT Realmuto starts really figuring this out again, you're going to see this Phillies team continue to go up and up and up and solidify themselves as a legit playoff team. Now, okay, you won this series against the Rays. Go ahead, let's get greedy. Let's get crazy. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Let's go win. Let's go sweep this series against the Rays. Then you got to go to a different part of Florida. You got to go from Tampa to Miami. And you got to handle your business against the Marlins, who are also a pretty good baseball team. Phillies have had a Marlins monkey on their back over the last couple of years. Yeah, last year they were able to kick the bad habit that were the Miami Marlins. Now it'd be nice to kick that habit again and roll into the All-Star break on a high. Not only have you beat the Rays, but you also take care of business against the Marlins in your own division. Then you can kick your feet up and take that All-Star break while Nick Castellanos goes out there and hopefully turns some heads in Seattle. Much-deserved All-Star appearance for Nick Castellanos. And then they come back and they just pick up hopefully right where they left off. I'll be crossing my fingers for that one. Phillies will be back at it tomorrow, 6:40 start time again against the Tampa Bay Rays. That game will feature Christopher Sanchez. I don't think it's been announced yet for the Rays as to who'll be getting that start, but Christopher Sanchez will be getting that start for the Phils. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Be back with you guys tomorrow. This one will be back on the Jacob Media YouTube channel tomorrow. A little technical difficulty there, so just wanted to make sure I gave you guys some fine Phillies conversation after the Phillies took this win, a series win over the Tampa Bay Rays. How about that? Be back with you guys tomorrow morning for the Farzi Show, live at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the podcast and all that fun stuff as well. Oh, and hey, catch me on Threads now. How about that? Mark.Farzi at Threads. All right. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. I'll see you guys in the morning. See ya.